So our other city that's going through a lot of serious issues when it comes to housing and rents is the city of Salinas. And just for a preview of who's going to be speaking to you, I have Dr. John Silva that's here, and he's going to start the group off because we have a couple of people speaking from Salinas. The Salinas situation is extremely, extremely disturbing because, as you will hear, it can literally happen to any city. And Salinas is 150,000 people? 160,000 people. They are majority renters. They are a farm worker community. They are very active with their city council, who is not listening to them. So the big push, and I'll reiterate what I said earlier, we need every single renter vote out there.
That's right.
When we have cities that are majority renters, we need to speak to all of them. Our elected officials need to make sure they feel heard so that they turn out and vote. And of course, this coming election is extremely important because we need to win back the House.
Yep.
So it's going to be speaking to them about what things are going on locally that will affect them, but also nationally, and we can't afford to keep ignoring the renter vote. So I'm going to have Dr. John Silva come up because the unique thing about what he's been doing, and I've been watching him so well, speaking so well to the city council, is he's brought other medical doctors to the conversation to show people that this isn't just an income and expense issue. We need to preserve people's mental health, their physical health. Not having affordable housing affects everything in your life. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so excited that John was able to join us.
Okay. Thank you, Esther. This is our whole team, which will all have a chance to speak to you. Thank you for this opportunity for exposure, Esther, and thank you all for deciding to come to this workshop here. As Esther mentioned, Dr. John Silva, I've practiced in Salinas since 1987, mostly over on the east side of Barrio, and I got a chance to see the hardships that families have had to go through housing-wise for many years. Just before the pandemic, 2017, 2018, we started to do some uplifting of voice over on the east side, and I participated in a workshop there, a several-month workshop. And the main project of that workshop, as far back as 2017, 2018, was affordable housing. We initiated a program at that time called Viviendas para Todos, or Housing for All. And that effort went on. It was a very interesting thing to be part of. And then the pandemic hit, and all the protections that came with the pandemic. But as you know, since the pandemic has gone away, things have started getting rough again. Right now, I do a lot of work with the group for Doctors for Healthy Salinas, trying to gather that energy. Why? So we providers in Salinas, as I said before here, story after story, several times a week, about emergency housing needs of not just individuals, although there are many homeless in Salinas, also families, a mom with 3 or 4 kids living in a car. I field 1 call a week like that. John, can you help me get these people housed? There are, as you know, there are a lot of other statistics I could bore you with, and I brought this up to remind you that if you want to hear all the data, I'm going to be available later, we can talk about that. But the one, and the data generally tracks along with the poverty data. The housing challenges that people face and the outcomes really track along with the poverty data. Let's see. The real factoid, I am going to give you one piece of data, and it's already been alluded to today. I heard a 20% McKinney-Vento at the MPUSD, the Monterey Peninsula Unified School District. So in Salinas, the numbers are much higher. So the McKinney-Vento is the federal homeless indicator, and it includes all those people that I just referred to, where they're living in a car, or their families, or children, young people that are couch surfing. Right now, as of June of this year, Monterey County had the highest number in the state of people with McKinney-Vento, and it was 12.6%. The next closest city was, no, I'm sorry, it was 16% of school kids in Monterey County are considered homeless. The next closest counties are like 10 and 12%. I think they're Ventura County and Santa Barbara County. So we're above that, just to give you an idea of the poverty that we're experiencing in Monterey County. So that's the one data thing that was to bore people, but that's a really important one. When we're considering that, we're considering the mental health and behavioral health consequences of moving every 2 or 3 months, of waking up in a car every day sometimes, and how can you learn like that? So I think of all the data, that's the most significant one that we and my colleagues are trying to work on. So again, if you want to hear the other data, I'm happy to share that with you. Not in front of everybody, it would take too long and you'd fall asleep. I'm going to introduce, so that's what keeps us motivated, and I'm going to introduce to you another colleague, Matt Huerta, who's going to talk about some other growth of our program.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, California Democratic Party. I am pleased to be here with my colleagues here, our activist team here from Salinas. So I'm an affordable housing advocate. I've been doing affordable housing policy, advocacy, training and coaching, and development for over 25 years. I'm based in Salinas, but I do statewide work, and it's never been harder. In the last 25 years since I've been paying attention to this, today I can tell you very confidently that it has never been harder to keep people housed and to develop high quality, deep, affordable housing to meet the needs of our communities. It takes all of us. It takes reaching across the aisle. It takes creativity, innovation, all tools in the toolbox, all those things. And so I'm proud to also be an AD 29 delegate appointed by Speaker Rivas, and advise him and many others here locally and regionally on affordable housing policy. When this issue came across my desk really, but also just living in Salinas, my wife's a school teacher as well, and 4 kids. I'm deeply invested in obviously their futures and the futures of our neighbors. It hurts. It hurts because what I saw increasingly happen in our community is the advantage that folks that in the landlord community, folks that are supposed to be delivering high quality housing, we're not doing that, and they're taking every advantage. And when 2020 happened and the worst things that we were dealing with as a community in terms of death and destruction of our families, the pandemic was raging in our community, and our farm workers, our essential workforce that's there to provide food security, not only for us, but for the country and beyond, when they were being given 13% increases, this is documented, over 13% increases during that time frame, okay, as they were choking from the fires that were ravaging our county. It's unconscionable, and that and many other issues, but I'm just like, you know what, gloves are off, I'm sorry. You know, sometimes we can, look the other way or continue, try to work with folks, but sometimes you just gotta fight. And so when they, thank you. And so I think that's what's happened for a lot of us, and when we had a fairly progressive, very meaningful and thoughtful council in that time frame, and a majority of council worked and listened to the community. The community participated through dozens and dozens of community meetings. Hundreds, if not thousands, of our residents actually participated. Farm workers themselves, right, after working long days and hours, nights and weekends, would participate. We heard from them. We designed ordinances that would meet those needs. That all effort led to ordinances that were very strong, but they met the moment. And then when elections have consequences, and so unfortunately a lot of that went the other way. As soon as another council came in, they decided to go another way and just wipe all that out. And we had started in 2023 with a rental registry, basically doing the work to understand the issue. And that's where I think some of the learning came from for us, was like, and we want to bestow upon others, it's like, look, it starts with the community effort, it starts with getting the data, it starts with having really strong policies that we can all get behind. And even then, I'll mention, and I'm going to pass the mic to my other colleagues here, but what I learned in that too was that you still have to try to work with everybody who's willing to come to the table. And at that time in 2023, even though we had a fairly conservative mayor and some other leaders, they voted with our group. We got them to the table, and we had a unanimous vote when the first strong ordinances around rental registry went forward. We had consensus. That fell apart again because they smelled blood and they went for it. And so now it's upon us to lock arms with all of you to protect Salinas renters and all of our renters across California. And I'm going to Media Soto.
Buenas tardes, yo solamente voy a hablar en español, mi nombre es Nidia Soto y compartiré acerca de mi vida personal y laboral.
I'm Nidia Soto, and she's going to speak on behalf of her experience, life experience and work experience.
Tratando de sobrevivir en Salinas con los altos costos de alquiler
Struggling to survive in Salinas with the high cost of rent
y muchos desalojos injustos.
and many unjust evictions.
Siendo una campesina por 12 años,
Being a farm worker for 12 years,
mamá de 3
mother
hijos.
of three children.
Después de eso trabajé en el sindicato de la Unión de Campesinos por 12 años también.
After those 12 years as a farm worker, Nidia worked as a UFW organizer for another 12 years.
Pues no tengo estudio, pero tengo la experiencia y el corazón con mi comunidad.
She doesn't have academic experience, but she has life experience.
Actualmente estoy trabajando con Building Healthy Community. Voy para 4 meses como organizadora de la justicia económica.
Currently, she's working as an organizer for Building Healthy Communities. We're going on 4 years. She's going on 4 years in the role of economic justice organizer.
Y fui voluntaria y soy voluntaria para Protect Salinas Renters.
And is a volunteer for Protect Salinas Renters.
Empecé como organizadora construyendo comunidades saludables a formar comités de involucramiento cívico. Le llamamos la escuelita de involucramiento cívico, donde me enfoqué en septiembre del 2022.
Started her work with DHC as an organizer, building a resident leadership with the Escuelita, the little school of civic involvement, starting in September 2022.
En octubre del 2022, mi familia y otras 5 familias fuimos desalojadas sin razón justa.
And that same year, 1 month later, they were evicted, an unjust eviction, her and her 3 children.
Pasando noviembre, Día de Acción de Gracias, Navidad y Año Nuevo, con el propietario tocándonos la puerta a cada familia para que nos fuéramos.
And then constantly from Thanksgiving on, we're reminded by the new owners that they had to leave.
Esa es una de las cosas que yo y mi familia vivimos experimentando, desalojos injustos, y es una de las cosas que he podido mirar con mucho de la comunidad, y es por eso que sigo teniendo y tengo más fuerte el corazón para ayudar a nuestra comunidad.
And this is because of this life experience that has informed her work, her whole approach to this struggle, to this movement to protect renters.
Siguiendo la lucha, en cada junta del concilio empezamos a formar parte de este esfuerzo de presentar nuestras experiencias vividas con desalojos injustos y altos costos de alquiler, aumentos injustos.
So coordinating with our neighbors, residents, tenants that were all experiencing the same experience that she had, varied degrees of struggle around unjust evictions and extreme rent increases.
Formamos una coalición de vivienda, la cual formó parte de BHC, nuestra organización, CCA, Centro Binacional y Centro Laboral, y Reinvest 831.
And it was after the approval of the rental registry, which was mentioned by Matt, Nidia and team began coordinating with city, other partnering orgs, built a coalition with 4 other orgs, Center for Community Advocacy, Center for Binational Development of Indigenous Oaxaqueños, Monterey Bay Central Labor Council, and Reinvest 831 to begin meeting with our residents base and city council members.
También hicimos una serie de juntas abiertas al público por cada por cada distrito, con cada concejal, donde venían cada inquilino a decir sus experiencias vividas.
Coordinating these meetings that is specifically in each district in Salinas between the city council representative and residents, which were primarily focused on our tenant neighbors.
En mayo del 2024 coordinamos una asamblea del pueblo sobre estas ordenanzas que estábamos luchando para que se pasaran en el concilio. Tuvimos una audiencia de participación de inquilinos de más de 300 personas, las cuales tuvimos interpretación en diferentes idiomas: español, inglés, mixteco, triqui, en el este de Salinas.
In the month of May of 2024, put together, coordinated an assembly of over 400 residents, and the language spectrum was English, Spanish, Mixteco, Triqui, Chatino, indigenous languages, because we know exactly how big our indigenous community is. This was in May of 2024. This was to inform them of this movement, of this work.
Nuestro equipo de VHC, con nuestras bases, colectamos alrededor de 4,000 firmas donde enseñaban los inquilinos que era más del 80% de sus salarios que estaban dirigidos a pagar su alquiler, y entregamos al concilio.
In this whole process, over 4,000, up to 4,000 to 5,000 signatures were collected on a petition, and on these petitions that were distributed amongst the four other coalition groups, we found, or what we were able to determine, because there was a question there, how much of your monthly rent goes to, what's the percentage of your monthly income that goes to rent? And it was all pretty much a majority, 80, 90, 100% of their income was what was indicated on the participants who filled out that petition.
Otoño del 2024 se llegó el voto por las ordenanzas. El concilio de la ciudad de Salinas, votando unánimemente, aprobaron estas ordenanzas. Y con eso concluyo mi.
And in September 24, 2024, the ordinances were approved. It was a historic win because we have it was the one ordinance that was already passed by the rental registry, but the three ordinances, just cause eviction, protection against harassment from landlords, and rent stabilization at 2.75%, no more than 2.75%.
Someone's leaning against the
All right, lights are on, let's go. Landlord, somebody pay the lights are good.
Con eso se lo paso a
Now we're passing it over.
Jasmine Topete.
Now we're passing it over to Jasmine Topete.
Gracias.
Thank you.
There should be some on each table.
These are
These are the ordinances that Nidia just spoke to, and there should be a copy of these four ordinances on each table. Yes, Yasmin Topete will wind us up.
Hi everyone, my name is Jasmine Topete Lopez. I'm a lifelong Salinas apartment resident and a recent first-gen UC Santa Cruz graduate. My parents have lived in the same apartment complex for over 25 years, and me my whole 21 years of life. I believe that opportunities can come knocking on your door because, well, it happened to me. I actually met Nidia in a very funny way. She came to my house one day, and at first I hid because I don't answer the door for people I don't know. And funny because then I would be knocking on doors and they would be hiding from me. But she started talking to my mom through the camera about the rental ordinances, and I was like, I know about that. So I opened the door and we started talking. That's when I realized I had seen her before at a CIDE convening through my program at UC Santa Cruz. She invited me to join La Escuelita, where I could learn even more about our community, and honestly, that changed everything for me. While many of my classmates couldn't wait to leave Salinas, I couldn't wait to see how I could make my community better. That's why I decided to commute. Because I don't want to leave. I want to stay here, build a future, and hopefully raise a family one day. Getting involved in this campaign felt like one step in the right direction, because no child should have to make a choice on whether or not to go to college or stay back and help their parents pay rent. When the City Council repealed the 4 rental ordinances on June 3rd, Protect Salinas Renters was formed, and we began gathering signatures for a referendum. In just 1 month, we collected over 10,000 signatures by walking the streets and talking to our neighbors. I learned so much. I learned so much even from people who disagreed or were the other side, the opposite side. Some who didn't support the ordinances still signed because they wanted their voices heard at an election. And so many shared their own struggles with me with rent and housing, and their stories really stayed with me. Hearing others' struggles and my own family's kept me pushing me through to continue in this campaign. And seeing people come together, even those who wouldn't personally benefit, showed me that what community really means. I began making social media videos to represent, protect Salinas renters, and speak on behalf of my generation. And as a coalition member with Building Healthy Communities in Monterey County, I even helped deliver our message to City Council that we were not going to negotiate with landlords as directed by Mayor Donahue. This experience showed me that real change starts right where you live, and that when we listen to one another and stand together, we can make Salinas a better place for everyone. This battle isn't over, and we will continue to stand together as a community to protect renters.
Excellent, Jasmine. So just a couple of quick notes before we wrap up. We're really just about done. I want to point out some of the other people that were out there with us collecting signatures, spending a lot of time knocking on doors. I see Eleanor. It's okay to look at Natalie. And then we have the PSR Coalition and Carrie. And our videographer, Wes. Always busy videographer. And I see someone that I canvassed with, Jan. Jan! Yes, Jan. So, I understand that Eleanor, Madam E, has stickers and buttons about our campaign.
Oh, good.
Like this beautiful one I'm rocking. So, where are we right now? Because of our successful petition campaign, these four ordinances will be on the ballot in November of 2026. And the real cool thing is that the ordinances will stay in place until that time. So Salinas is benefiting for another year. And then the most recent news is just this week we found out about a DA investigation into our petition gathering campaign. It's shameless and it's foolishness. If you get a chance to see the Coast Weekly while you're here, on page 13 of the Coast Weekly, there's an article describing that investigation. So, we need resources going forward, we'll need funds going forward. There's an easy way for you guys to do that. This QR code here will get you to our campaign website. You can become a volunteer member that way if you like. And there's also a portal there to donate. With that, we appreciate very much once again this opportunity, Esther, and appreciate your help.
Okay, so now you all hear what can happen in your own backyards. You know, having the DAs come to people's homes just because they signed a petition is a sign of where we're all headed. In fact, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but we need the renters to turn out and vote in every jurisdiction. Super important. So I wanted to bring up our other supervisor, Wendy Root Askew. She's District 4, and she has a lot of the Salinas area in her district. So welcome, Wendy.
Thank you, Esther. And I just want to say, I'm so impressed with the turnout. Esther, you've done a phenomenal job of organizing. To the Renters Caucus for the Democratic Party, thank you guys so much. I grew up, I lived in, 20-something different homes in my life until we finally bought our house and got really lucky. But I'm never moving again. But I get it, right? The reality for so many of us and for so many of my constituents is that housing instability causes, it's a reason that you can't focus on so many other things in life. And until we can figure out how to solve that equation, we're never going to be able to move on to so many other issues. And the only way to solve for that equation is to organize, because organizing is how things change. And so to the folks, Monterey County, I just want to say, the folks who just spoke and the team from Monterey County, the battle is being fought right here, right now. And what's happening in Salinas right now, how this plays out in Salinas is going to define what happens statewide. So we need your support statewide to support the team that is bravely, I mean, the folks who spoke, like, these are the bravest human beings you will ever meet. Because the pressures are so real, they're so strong, the forces, the power, it is real. I'm looking at, we know. And so for those of you who aren't from Monterey County, who aren't from Salinas, like, we thank you for being here, we thank you for hearing these stories, and we need you here with us in this battle with us. And we need you to bring your friends, we need labor with us, because otherwise what plays out here will have ramifications statewide, for better or for worse. And we want it to be for better, because we know that this isn't a battle for Salinas, this is a battle for renters across the state. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being the voice of so many who don't otherwise have voice, because we know that it matters. And I just personally, on behalf of my lived experience, like, God bless you and thank you, and let's do this. Thank you, Esther. Let's hear it for Esther. For real.
Okay, thank you, Wendy. I just want to close with asking for your support, supporting Salinas with the donations. They're going to need a lot of funding. You know, we need legal help to fight this whole situation with the DAs. So getting the word out also statewide. Go home and tell the people in your cities and your counties what is happening here, because it can happen there. I also want to invite you, those of you that are not members of the Renters Council, to please join our Renters Council. We are made up of renters, and as we all know here, we do not have a lot of money. And unfortunately, a lot of the things that the party does involves money that we don't have. So any support we can get from members, you can sign up to be a monthly donor, you can give us a one-time donation. We would appreciate all of that, because we are actually a PAC and we can endorse candidates. But we can't contribute to campaigns if we don't have the funds. So helping us with that is really, really important. And I will leave you with two last statistics. First, the state of California this year came in tied with the state of Louisiana for the highest poverty level in the country. Oh, wow. That's fact. So when we think about talking about, we have the fourth largest economy in the world, that economy is not benefiting everybody. Our poverty level is not acceptable for a state this wealthy. Also, we also know now with studies that have come in for this year that the only category that has increased in poverty levels are seniors. Every other category of poverty has either stayed the same or dropped. But seniors increased 15%. We cannot have our seniors relying on Social Security alone. That doesn't even cover a fraction of their rent. Those are the people that are becoming homeless. It is not what some of the higher-ups and others that want to keep stating the narrative of last century, that it's alcoholics and drug addicts that are becoming homeless. They are not the ones becoming homeless. They are, absolutely, but the highest demographic of people who are becoming homeless are families and middle-aged women. Our seniors cannot be forgotten in this, and it's very, very important that we join with them, and as well as families. They are the ones that are going to carry everything forward for us. And the seniors have already done the work, so we owe it to them to stay housed. And on that note, I thank you all very much for attending, and I really hope that this was useful to you guys to be able to take it forward and bring us members and help us through everything that we know we're going to be challenged with.